Have you ever felt the sheer, unadulterated frustration of seeing a perfect solution, a seamless fit, tantalizingly close, only for an invisible wall of bureaucracy and complex rules to slam the door shut? For the Golden State Warriors, a franchise synonymous with innovation and championship pedigree. That very scenario is playing out in the high-stakes world of NBA free agency. As they navigate the delicate dance of roster construction, a seemingly ideal trade target has emerged, a six-time All-Star whose skill set could fill a glaring void. Yet the math, as they say, simply doesn't add up, leaving fans and analysts alike scratching their heads in bewilderment. Welcome, basketball fanatics, to a deep dive into the labyrinthine world of NBA transactions where talent, need, and ambition often collide with the cold, hard realities of the collective bargaining agreement. We're talking about the Golden State Warriors, a team at a pivotal juncture, and their ongoing saga with rising star Jonathan Kuminga. For weeks, the Sacramento Kings, their Pacific Division rivals, have been the most persistent suitor for Kaminga, a young forward brimming with untapped potential. The Kings have been relentless, throwing various packages at the Warriors, desperate to pry Kaminga away and bolster their own playoff aspirations. Their most notable offer, a combination of veteran forward Dario Saric, promising young guard Devin Carter, and future draft capital, was met with a swift and decisive rejection from the Warriors' front office. Golden State, it seems, holds Kuminga in incredibly high regard, or at least values his potential trade return far more than what the Kings have been willing to offer. This staunch refusal to budge on their valuation of Kaminga speaks volumes about their long-term vision, or perhaps their belief that a more enticing package will eventually materialize. But the plot thickened, as it always does in the NBA's off-season drama. Whispers began to circulate, fueled by reports from insiders like Sam Amick of The Athletic, that another intriguing name had entered the Kaminga trade conversation. DeMar DeRozan, the six-time All-Star, a perennial scoring machine, was reportedly on the Warriors' radar, or at least a potential piece in a complex sign-and-trade scenario involving Kaminga. On the surface, the idea of DeRozan joining the Warriors seemed to make a certain kind of sense, a tantalizing what-if that could address some of the team's most pressing needs. DeRozan, even at 35 years old, remains one of the most consistent and prolific scorers in the entire league. Last season, he continued to defy Father Time, posting healthy averages of 22.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists, all while shooting an efficient 47.7% from the floor. He is a maestro of the mid-range, a dying art in today's three-point-centric NBA, capable of creating his own shot and dissecting defenses with his silky smooth drives and pull-up jumpers. For a Warriors team that, beyond the incomparable Stephen Curry and the newly acquired Jimmy Butler, has often struggled to find consistent secondary ball handling and playmaking, DeRozan could be a pure bucket getter, a reliable offensive hub capable of alleviating pressure on their stars. One could argue that the Warriors, in their pursuit of another championship, might even be willing to overlook some of DeRozan's well-documented flaws. His three-point shooting, while improved over the years, is still not a strength, and his defensive effort has been inconsistent at times throughout his career. However, in a system that thrives on movement and off-ball screens, and with defensive anchors like Draymond Green, perhaps DeRozan's offensive prowess would outweigh these concerns. The desperate need for another reliable offensive creator, someone who can get a bucket in isolation when the offense stagnates, might just be enough to justify the gamble. Alas, the dream scenario, the seemingly perfect puzzle piece, is thwarted by one of the NBA's most arcane and frustrating financial regulations, the base year compensation rules. This is where the math doesn't work and where the hopes of a straightforward Kaminga DeRozan sign-and-trade dissolve into a cloud of complex salary cap jargon. To put it simply, base year compensation (BYC) rules apply to players who sign new contracts, especially sign-and trades, that significantly increase their salary. The rule is designed to prevent teams from using a player's previous, lower salary to facilitate a trade that they otherwise couldn't afford under salary cap rules. When a player is subject to BYC, their outgoing salary for trade purposes is either 50% of their new salary or their previous salary, whichever is greater. This means that if a player's new contract is much larger than their old one, their trade value from a salary matching perspective is artificially deflated for the team acquiring them. In DeRozan's case, he is set to make $24.8 million and $25.7 million in the final 2 years of his new contract. While this salary figure might align perfectly with the Warriors' long-term plan for financial flexibility in the critical 2027 offseason, the BYC rules create an immediate, insurmountable hurdle for a sign-and trade involving Kaminga. Kaminga, as a player on a rookie contract, has a relatively low salary. For the Warriors to acquire DeRozan in a sign-and trade, they would need to send out a commensurate amount of salary to match DeRozan's incoming figure. However, because of BYC, DeRozan's trade value for salary matching purposes is significantly lower than his actual new salary. This creates a massive gap that Kuminga's salary alone simply cannot bridge. It's like trying to fill a swimming pool with a teacup. The volume just isn't there. This is the infuriating reality of the NBA's intricate financial landscape. A player like DeRozan, a proven commodity, a 6-time All-Star, becomes almost impossible to acquire in a direct sign-and trade for a young, promising asset like Kaminga, not because of talent or fit, but because the numbers on a spreadsheet don't align perfectly with the league's complex rulebook. It's a stark reminder that in professional basketball, the game isn't just played on the court, it's also played in the executive offices with calculators and collective bargaining agreements as the primary weapons. So, is there any path for DeRozan to land in the Bay Area? The answer is not impossible, but it's far from simple. The only conceivable way for Golden State to realistically acquire DeRozan would be to involve additional players, specifically Moses Moody or Buddy Hield, alongside Kaminga. And even then, the deal would likely require a third team to facilitate. Why a third team? Because the Sacramento Kings, the primary interested party in Kaminga, are hard-capped at the first apron, meaning they have very little flexibility to take on additional salary without shedding some of their own. This adds another layer of complexity, turning a two-team trade into a multi-party negotiation, each with their own demands and salary constraints. The prospect of giving up not only Kaminga, but also another valuable rotation piece like Moody or Hield would likely prove too much for the Warriors to stomach, unless they were also receiving significant draft capital in the process. At that point, the cost-benefit analysis shifts dramatically. Is DeRozan, even with his scoring prowess, worth sacrificing 2 promising young players and potentially future draft picks? For a team trying to balance winning now with building for the future, that's a monumental decision. It underscores the Warriors' current tightrope walk, trying to maximize the remaining years of Stephen Curry's prime while simultaneously developing their next generation of talent. The Kaminga situation itself is a microcosm of this challenge. The Warriors drafted him with high hopes, seeing him as a potential future star. His development has been promising but inconsistent, leading to questions about his long-term fit and role. While the team clearly values him, the persistent trade rumors suggest a willingness to move him for the right price, especially if it brings in a piece that can contribute immediately to their championship window. The DeRozan scenario, while ultimately blocked by rules, highlights the kind of impactful veteran presence the Warriors might be seeking to pair with their established core. In the end, the DeMar DeRozan-Jonathan Kaminga trade saga serves as a frustrating, yet illuminating lesson in the intricate world of NBA team building. It's a world where talent and need are often secondary to the cold, hard math of salary cap rules and the complex machinations of the collective bargaining agreement. While the idea of DeRozan's consistent scoring and playmaking gracing the Warriors' lineup was an exciting thought, the reality of base year compensation rules has, for now, rendered it a pipe dream. The Warriors will continue their quest to optimize their roster, navigating a landscape filled with both tantalizing possibilities and invisible financial barriers. The Kaminga conundrum, it seems, is far from over, and the search for that perfect, rule-compliant puzzle piece continues. What are your thoughts, basketball fans? Does the NBA's complex rulebook, like base year compensation, hinder teams from making the best basketball decisions? Or is it a necessary evil to maintain competitive balance? And how do you see the Jonathan Kaminga saga ultimately playing out for the Golden State Warriors. Share your insights and frustrations in the comment section below. If you found this deep dive into the NBA's financial intricacies insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exclusive reports and analysis that cut through the noise and get to the heart of the game. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.